Hey everybody, Jabman025 here. Today I'm taking a look at my third SD kit, the RX-78-2 Gundam, and in this case it's the 30th anniversary edition. And before anyone asks, yes, my voice is a little off. I'm getting over a really bad cold. Trust me, if I did this 2 days ago, it would have sounded a heck of a lot worse. But let's get down to business. Now I'm going to use this review as kind of a show-off of my different techniques for painting. First off, start with the eyes. The whole thing is molded in yellow. I need it in black and gold. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray paint the whole thing silver. I'll talk about why in a second. Here's how I do my painting. I take some toothpicks and I put them in these foam blocks. I then use some sticky tack on the tip of the toothpicks. This is plain old office sticky tack you can buy just about anywhere. Then I slap the piece I'm going to paint onto the sticky tack. Now, I'm sure you're asking yourself, well, won't that leave a little bit of residue of the sticky tack on the piece itself? And yes, it will. But, you see, I put it on the back piece, the piece that's going to connect in, so no one will ever see it anyway. So who cares? As long as you're using it on a piece no one's ever going to see, you don't have to worry about being perfect. Now, as I said, I wanted to paint the whole thing silver. It's because I want gold eyes. I'm going to use a clear yellow on top of the eye sections. I'm going to paint over the other sections black, as so. Always do the easiest thing first. You can see I've got some edging problems here on the side. But again, who cares? No one's ever going to see it. On the faceplate, I have a lot of fine painting to do here. I have some black sections, I have some yellow sections, but they're all in very small places and very tight crevices. To do this, I recommend a very fine point paintbrush. See here, it's very, very fine point. And you can see it is well used because it's pretty beat up. I use this all the time to get in those fine details. It's very time-consuming and difficult to get it just right, but on those little pieces. For the lining, I use a Real Touch marker. You can get these at most Gundam stores. You can buy them online. Some people used to use black Sharpies. They work, but quite frankly, they don't work anywhere near as well. When I first started doing Gunpla, I used black Sharpies. When I went to a Real Touch, I never looked back. They are so much better. And you see here on the chest, there's not a whole lot of work to do. See the yellow sections there, and those peek through. Blue section lines up perfectly. You do have some more lining to do here, so bust out that Real Touch. Here you see the head on top of the body. Again, you can see those camera mounts, those got to be painted too. Here on the feet, we have some more painting to do. See, the back part of the foot should be red, but it's all molded in white. So, time to bust out the paint again. You see, I use that fine point paintbrush to get the little sections, but you can see that whole bottom section is going to be red anyway. So you might as well bust out the big guy. There's a big old brush pen. You don't got to worry about being fancy and getting all the little parts. It's all one big flat surface. You can see they molded the front part in red, so it does not match now. Two different shades of red. On most of the kit, it ain't going to matter, but when two pieces are that close together, you got to make them the same color. Ergo, repaint all that. Now the red I used is very glossy. You see I had a little bit of red painting to do on the skirt armor. So I flattened that out. There's another place where that foam comes in useful. Slap it right on there, and you can paint easily. And I give a little flat coat on there, we're good to go. No longer anywhere near as glossy. Flat coats is the same as matte coats. Either way, it's just a clear coat that kills the gloss. Backpack, another issue we have here. It's all molded in gray except for those white sections of the side. It's all going to be one color. And for me, I want to use the beam saber on this particular guy, so I got to chop one off. Use a couple of plastic snips, get rid of one beam saber. That way it looks like the beam saber the Gundam is holding is the one he pulled off the backpack. And repaint the whole thing in gray, one solid color. Again, not perfect on the back, but no one's ever going to see it, so who cares? And we got them all standing up, good to go. Again, you can see one missing beam saber because he's going to be holding the other one. You do have these little black sections on the elbows and the ankles to fill in. That's not a huge problem. Again, bust out that little fine point paintbrush rather. Now here you see here, there's these little gray sections on the top of the feet, and I screwed up. Guess what? It happens. When you're painting, you're going to screw up. I messed up the lines. An easy way to clean this up is to use a toothpick and scrape off the excess. This is not perfect. It does not make it look beautiful, but it cleans it up. Ergo, you would want to make as few mistakes as possible, because that's difficult and it's annoying. Accessories. The shield is molded in gray. That's not the color it needs to be. Whenever you're going to do multiple colors, always do the one with the most color first. In this case, white. Again, put it in the foam and spray paint the whole thing white is what I did. Because the entire back is going to be white. Most of the front's going to be red, but the entire back is white. Go back in there, hand paint the red in. You got to paint the yellow, and you got to paint that bar up at the top. Again, this is all given in stickers, but I'm doing painting. If you wanted to use stickers on this whole kit, you could easily. Again, it wouldn't look as nice, though. Next accessory we got is the beam rifle. I have no plans to use this, so I didn't do much to it. This is straight out of the box. Holds it no problem. Again, you'd have to do a fair bit of painting and sticker to make it look great, but I'm not going to be using the beam gun because I'm going to be using the beam saber. Now, to do this, I'm going to have to repaint the beam saber because it obviously comes in white. The handle's supposed to be white, so we're good there. Easy way to do this, stick it right in the foam. Why do I do this? Well, jam it in there, and we're good. When I paint this, I got to paint it silver and then let it dry. Then I got to paint with top clear red and let it dry. And I'm not going to sit there and hold that the whole time. Paint it, let it sit there, dry, come back, give it the second coat, then let it dry. And you got a nice glowy red beam saber. It's not quite as pink as some of the beam sabers you see, but it still looks good. It gives that glow. Now, another thing you get with this kit, which I pretty much never see on SD kits, is decals. I've never seen decals on an SD kit, but you get them here. Some for the shield, some for the shoulders, a good deal for the head. And that's a nice little treat. I almost never see decals on an SD kit. And that really, gives a little bit of extra to this kit. And you can see in the background, they also give you this little standee. You see the SD white base flying around. And for an SD kit, this is fairly posable. You can get some neat little poses out of this little guy. As SD kits go, this is really posable. And looks really good. Final thoughts on this kit. As SD kits go, this is a really good SD kit. Lots of posability. Decals, nice accessories. But it's still an SD kit. You got painting to do. You got detail work to do. You got a lot of stuff to do to make it really look nice. But if you're willing to put in the time to do it, you can really come up with a nice little kit. But SD kits are made for painting, they're made for practice, and they're made just to have fun. You really aren't going to put a ton of time into a kit like this, but it's fun nonetheless. Thumbs up. Good kit. Well, guys, thanks for watching. I know I did a little bit of tutorial on painting here. I hope I made some sense. If you got any questions about any things I said, please ask them. I'll answer them as best I can. Thanks you guys for watching. I always appreciate it. And I'll see you guys next time with another review. Oh, and one more thing. Harrow. Harrow.
What the... Does anyone have any clue what that means?
No idea.
Hey, don't look at me. I don't have a clue.
Genki. Amuro Genki. Haro haro.
Well, that makes more sense.
That I get.
I still don't get it.